welcome to the 10th anniversary of the JMH LaunchPad pitch competition. It's honestly really hard to believe that it's already been 10 years since we've gone through this whole process, and so it's just really great and to be here to celebrate this with everybody. Before we get started, we'd first like to do a land acknowledgement here. So Mount Royal University is located in the traditional territories of the Niitsitapi Blackfoot and the people of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta, which includes Siksika, the Piikani, the Kainai, the Tsuut'ina, and the Ahaya Nakota. We are situated on land where the Bow River meets the Elbow River. The traditional Blackfoot name of this place is Mukintsitsis, which we now call the city of Calgary. The city of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation. Thank you. So, by way of introduction, my name is Mark Zojibwami, and I'm an alumnus here at Mount Royal University, but I'm also an alumnus of the JMH LaunchPad program, which was just a wonderful experience. I had the privilege of being on stage in 2019, which was the last in-person LaunchPad, and so it's nice to be back together here in person. Yeah, that's worth applauding. And so if you've been here before, you may know that historically there have been other MCs, Jen McDonald and Emily Knight. They are now just too high in demand, and so we had to settle for me, unfortunately, and so hopefully we can do okay with that. As I mentioned, I was on stage here just 3 years ago, and it was one of the more meaningful and memorable moments of my university experience. JMH LaunchPad truly was a launchpad for me. Someone wise once told me, we have all drank from wells we did not dig, and we have been warmed by fires we did not build. JMH LaunchPad has been one of those wells that I have drank from many times, and I've been warmed by the great community here numerous times as well, too. And so thank you for everyone who's been involved in this entire process, and we are very excited and proud to celebrate this year's finalists, but also the amazing community of LaunchPad alumni throughout the last 10 years. And so it's going to be a great evening, and we're really looking forward to it. And so before we move on, we just have two housekeeping items just to cover. As you guys know, there is a no mask mandate, and so we just ask everybody just to be respectful of anybody who chooses to wear a mask or not to wear a mask, or just be respectful of that choice. And the second item here is, if I happen to make a bad joke that you just don't like, I just encourage you to not come up stage and slap me. Q and Will Smith joke there. No, we're going to keep things pretty mild for the most part here. But anyway, so for the next bit here, it's my honor to introduce the President and Vice Chancellor of Mount Royal University, Dr. Tim Raleigh, for a few remarks.
Well, hello, everyone. It's lovely to be here in person this evening with all of you, and thank you for the introduction, Mark. I was tempted to slap you, but since you gave us that provision, I will restrain. It's really a pleasure to be here with all of you this evening, and for the JMH 2022 LaunchPad competition, an opportunity available to some of our best and brightest students in Mount Royal for 10 years now. I was looking at the lovely displays at the side of the room here, and I hope you all have a moment to look. There's a lot to admire about the students and recent graduates like yourself, Mark, who put a lot of work to nurture business ideas and apply those to this competition. My sincere admiration also extends to the panel of judges who lend their time, their experience, their knowledge, and thoughtfully consider each of the pitches and provide crucial feedback. But what's really most remarkable for me is this unique competition is that every pitch participant, I have to say that 10 times fast, pitch participant will walk away with something that's invaluable, a skill that has taken many entrepreneurs years and years and years to develop. But through the feedback they'll get here, they're better prepared. The fact that you're here today presenting a solution to a problem while defining who your customer is speaks a lot to your capacity and to the fact that you are resilient, you are confident, critical thinkers. And that's really consistent with who we are here at Mount Royal. It's a source of pride to know that you are all demonstrating competencies that have been developed and encouraged through the challenging and transformational programs available through the Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship here at MRU. Competitors, we are all here to offer support for you this evening and always. We are grateful for your participation and wish you good luck tonight and in the future. I must express my gratitude to the Mount Royal donors who make these opportunities possible. It's your belief in the mission of the university that really sustains those of us who work here day to day. I would be remiss as a president if I didn't share with you that vision, which is to provide meaningful and engaged learning opportunities that create individual transformation for societal benefit. And I can't think of a program that encapsulates that work more than this one tonight. That allows us to guide and encourage our future graduates. I would be remiss if I did not also thank a generous group of MRU alumni who have donated to the Student Award for the second year in a row. Thank you so much. I'll end by sharing that this is a busy evening on campus. We've gone 2 years with not that many events on campus. I'll have to excuse myself a little later and go down the hall. I may drift in, and I know there's a few other folks, the deans and vice presidents who are here this evening. We might be drifting back and forth, but I want to wish everyone of the student presenters good luck, and thank you for representing the faculties of Arts, Science, Communication, and Business, and all the very best. I can't wait to hear and see what you will do next. Thank you, and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Dr. Raleigh. In a bit, we're going to hear from Ray DePaul, who's the director of Institute. But prior to his remarks, we'd like to play a short video featuring some of the JMH LaunchPad alumni. And then following the video, it'll be our privilege to hear from Ray DePaul.
So we started it for the same reason most people in my position start that kind of thing, is we wanted to create startups. We thought if we could get founders and create startups, then they'll go on to do amazing things in that startup. And they basically found their community while they were trying to start their business. They started supporting each other and they started hanging out together. And we started to feel like, oh my goodness, we actually are giving a group of students a place to belong.
LaunchPad is an opportunity for people like myself when we were going through LaunchPad to really immerse ourselves and learn from the people around us.
It's an opportunity to surround yourself with other students that are doing something similar to you. You know, if you're an obsessive student entrepreneur, it's fun to be around other obsessive student entrepreneurs.
For me, it was an experience where I was able to come up with an idea from scratch, put some serious thought into it, and actually have a goal to work towards and be able to present it on stage to 300 people and get validation of whether or not this was actually a good idea.
I hated public speaking. Didn't even want to present in front of class or anything. So LaunchPad for me was the most intimidating thing. After going through LaunchPad, you get to think about really what you like doing because you get to do it all.
For me, what I took away from LaunchPad was mostly just the confidence to be able to go out there and try and pursue my entrepreneurial goals.
I didn't want a business. I think Ray would even tell you it was not a business. It was an activist tea project. But then I started to learn about the ways that businesses can tap into markets to solve social problems, and it changed my whole perspective.
The LaunchPad community has become a group of friends that you get to bounce ideas off, share problems with.
Well, I think through the Innovation Entrepreneurship program, I pretty much made my entire friend group. I met my current best friend and my business partner.
So many people that initially had helped on, Ray DePaul, Jen, Sam, about 20% or more of our staff today are Mount Royal students. So those same individuals that I was able to forge connections with in classes I was taking are now working with us to build an amazing community of people.
It gave me a lot of inspiration to see, hey, if these people can do this, I can do this too.
I would say to JMH, thank you so much for investing into the community.
I hope that they understand the impact that they have made on each and every one of us.
Without that initial $10,000 we got from JMH, I wouldn't have been able to make the mistakes we made right away and learn from that and continue on. And so without that, there wouldn't have been a Deepwater Farms, and I wouldn't have been able to be living out my dream.
Well, that was lovely. Thank you, Mark, for the semi-introduction. I'm Ray, in case you didn't put that together. And this is really amazing. Thank you for showing up. We had no idea how many would show up, whether too many would or not enough, and this is just perfect. You can tell that picture of me is pre-COVID because that shirt no longer fits, and I'm being serious. But one of our donors who's here tonight asked me a really good question a few weeks ago. He asked me what I had learned in this process. And I've had this amazing opportunity over 10 years to work with hundreds of ambitious young people. And so I thought I'd share a few things that they've taught me, and maybe you'll take something away from that. It's not about the idea, it's about the person. And I told this story a few years ago, but it's worth repeating. Zach walked into my, great picture by the way, Zach, that's great. Zach walked into my office with a really big idea. It's the first time I met him. And so I immediately gave a call out to a friend of mine who was an expert in what he was talking about. And he said, oh, unfortunately, that's technically infeasible, can't be done. So I went back to Zach and I said, sorry man, can't be done. And that was the last I saw of Zach for 2 years. So the lesson I learned there is it's not about the idea, right? It's about this ambitious student who was thinking big and had the guts to share that with somebody, an authority. And it is so easy to find a fault in any idea. It is so much more impactful if you look for a way to support the person with the idea who's on the beginning of a very long journey. So this is something we remember every day when students come up to us with what might be a bit of a fuzzy idea at the beginning. It's only a failure if you didn't learn. So Gio and Taryn were both on this stage 3 years ago. And they both won money, 2 separate companies, and they both used that money to advance their businesses, but I think they'd be the first to admit it didn't go as far as they would hope. Now you could call that a failure, but you'd be wrong. Because about 18 months ago, the two of them looked at each other and said, let's take all this stuff we just learned and do another one together. And that company is now called Flamingo. They have raised about $2 million, and they're about to build something they couldn't even have imagined 3 years ago. So that's a success. Perseverance is a superpower. So Paul had the idea for Deepwater Farms 8 years ago. And he faced a lot of adversity along the way. Frankly, I probably would have quit. Let me give you an example. To save money, he slept underneath a fish tank in his first farm, which was in a garage. Now, I think it's actually a virtue to know when to give up. But the problem was, Paul was seeing all the right signals. People were liking what they're doing. Customers liked the produce he was making. He just found out it was going to be harder and take longer than he ever imagined. And that's where perseverance plays, right? It's that the goal is still worthwhile, and this is something you should be investing your time and energy into, but it's going to be hard, and you find a way to push through that. Paul is now the CEO of a very successful Deepwater Farms. He has his own condo, so everything's great. And I have no worries about Paul's future. He's going to survive whatever life throws at him. We need a diverse set of innovators to solve a diverse set of problems. So this slide implies I'm talking about gender diversity, but I think it applies to all diversity. If we don't, just as an example, if we don't support young entrepreneurial women, then we're not going to get the next Alexandra who has an activist tea company. Or we're not going to get the next Alyssa who created a sports bra with radiation protection. Or Kirill and Mikhaila who were working on apps for mental health for young people. And I'm actually quite encouraged to see a lot of new supports rolling out for women and diverse entrepreneurs with diverse ideas. So I think we're on the right track. Entrepreneurship is a science, not a religion. Now, the night isn't long enough for me to tell you everything these two gentlemen have taught me. But I'll give you one idea. But first, let me explain my phrase before you grab the pitchforks and march onto the stage. So if you've ever met a scientist, you'll be struck by how passionate they are with their science, with their research, with their idea. But what's more striking is how willing they are to run a test or an experiment that could prove them completely wrong. They will embrace that. And that is what a true entrepreneur does. They have to be passionate about what they're doing, but they also have to be willing to run these tests and experiments, look at the data, decide whether it's time to pivot to someplace else, or perhaps step back altogether. So these two guys made the very difficult decision a few years ago to step away from their very first business. But then I watched them create a second successful business together, and they're now on their third business separately. And this experimental mindset is the way they've operated all their businesses, because this is what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. So if you're thinking about it, passion is necessary, but it's insufficient. You have to have this experimental mindset. Entrepreneurship unlocks hidden potential and dry mouth. Hang on. So over the last 10 years, I've had two students who are amazing student entrepreneurs. They won pitch competitions. They were great. And it was only in getting to know them that I found out they both had a learning disability that made university really hard. But what was amazing is after they started their business, this gave them, a context to start to apply everything they were learning in class, and things started to piece together. And I think it's just amazing that by changing the learning environment around starting a business, in their case, they could actually excel in what they were doing as opposed to struggle. So that was a huge success, in my opinion. Entrepreneurs make incredible employees. This is probably one of the best outcomes, and I don't think I anticipated it, that we are graduating entrepreneurial students that are as excited about joining a company as they are about creating one. And this is just a smattering of those students. We need a lot of founders in this city, and we're trying our best to create those founders. But we need 10 times as many first 10 employees to join those founders. That's just math. So we have to create a lot more of them, and they have to be just as entrepreneurial as the founder. So I think this is an amazing outcome, and it really leads me to my favorite definition of an entrepreneur, which is someone who does far more than anyone thought possible with far fewer resources than everyone thought necessary. So when you see the pitches tonight, I want you to remember that definition. And remember that what you're seeing happened at the same time as a full course load, part-time jobs, relationships, and everything else it means to be a student. And that's what makes these individuals true entrepreneurs. Now, none of this is possible without donors. So the Institute for Innovation Entrepreneurship is 100% funded by donors. All our programs, all our mentorship, our student awards, our salaries all come from donors. And we wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the foundational gifts from the RBC Foundation and David and Leslie Bissett. And I'm thrilled there's a few RBC members here today, including, I believe, Jerry Lynn Daniels is here. And they've been amazing partners over the last 10 years. Because we have this deep belief that it takes a personalized learning with every single student to actually give the transformative experience we want. I want to make sure that every experience they have, frustrating experience, difficult experience, exciting experience, is a learning experience. Otherwise, it's wasted. And that takes talent. That takes a team of talent. And I'm just so thankful that RBC has seen the need to have that level of personalized experience, and they will continue to support us over the next many years. So thank you. Please. We're thrilled this year to have a new donor in Kathy and Bruce Williams. And their generosity has allowed us to take an extracurricular program that we can now pay these students to go through these innovation and entrepreneurship extracurricular programs. Now that might sound weird, but think about it. If you have a choice between doing an amazing program or working part-time and paying the bills, what are you going to do? So this, to me, helps us democratize innovation and entrepreneurship and give the same opportunity to anybody regardless of their financial status. So I'm really thankful for that to the Williams. So these are the donors that let us work with dozens and dozens of students every year. But tonight we're talking about the LaunchPad competition. And we're going to give away some big awards tonight, and we're really excited by that. So there's 4 donors that we have to mention and the awards they're giving away. So the first is the LaunchPad Alumni Award. So this is the second year, and Tim mentioned this, that a group of alumni have donated so that the next generation can get a leg up starting. And last year when I announced this, I think I cried. So I'm going to just move on. But it's so touching that they do that. See, when I rehearsed, I didn't cry. So know you're appreciated. Most of you are here. We're absolutely thrilled to add a new donor this year, Connect First. And they are giving a $10,000 award to the student that has the potential to have the biggest social impact. Entrepreneurship for good is really important to us, and we're just so thrilled that Connect First saw the same vision that we did, and we're going to reward one student tonight with $10,000. So Aislinn Grant was on this stage in the very first LaunchPad, and she's been finding ways to give back ever since. And one of the ways, one of many to be honest, is an award she gives at this event. And it's $15,000 of design and brand services that she does herself and her team. And these are rock star designs. And she does it all over the country. And we're just so thrilled that one student's going to get a leg up on branding and design. So thank you, Aislinn. We can't overestimate what Aislinn means to this community. And then there's JMH. So if you don't know JMH, you should. They are this amazing accounting firm with offices in Calgary, Medicine Hat, and Brooks. And there would be no LaunchPad if it wasn't for them. So I met Jerry, Jeff, and Terry 10 years ago. And for some very personal reasons, they wanted to support young people. And I'm so touched that they took a chance on a brand new program. We'd never done this before. A brand new leader from Ontario, and frankly, a brand new university. We've been Mount Royal College until recently. And so over the last 10 years, they have given our students $550,000. And they, yes. And they enthusiastically agreed to do 5 more years and another $300,000. They're hitting so above their weight class, it's not funny. And all of this, them hitting above their weight class means we get to hit above our weight class. This is not what you normally get at a university our size. So I'd love it if you guys could come on stage for a minute. We'd love to present you with a small token of our appreciation, if somebody knows where that is. So this is a picture of every single student that's ever been on this stage, including the group tonight. So yeah, if you want to say something.
Well, I can't believe it's 10 years, but I just want to say thank you on our end. It's been a great 10 years for us, and we couldn't imagine where this has gone over the years. When we first started, I think we wanted to participate and help out students, and we wanted to do it in a meaningful way with not only funds, but to help out where we could with time as well. So about over 10 years ago, we were kind of meeting with the foundation and kind of touring the university, and we had sort of a money amount that we were looking at, and I think about that time the library was being built and stuff like that, and there was some large donations of $5 and $10 million and some huge things like that. So we were getting the feeling, well, is ours really going to be that meaningful? But fate had us go in the right direction, and Ray came along at that time, and we were able to meet up. And to him, $50,000 a year was a big thing, because he said, I can give this out to the students immediately, and they're going to see the benefit of it. So I'd like to thank Ray and his team for making this grow. I'd also like to thank the foundation. They've done a great job as well, especially Lori and Terry the last several years. And it's been a privilege, and we're so glad to be a part of it, and just very appreciative of how it's grown and the great work that Ray has done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry and Terry and Jeff. So I have one more thing to do before I pass it back to Mark and we get on with the pitches. Every year we honor one alumni as the LaunchPad Alumni of the Year. And I walked through some of our amazing alumni, so you know the pool's pretty deep. But this is our 10th anniversary. And we decided we had to honor the person who did the most to help build this program and build this community. And the decision was actually quite easy. It was Jen McDonald. So you can read a short, sorry, now I just got something caught in my throat. You can read a short bio of Jen in the brochure, but it really won't describe what she means to this community of innovators and entrepreneurs. And I think there's really 3 events that let us create what I believe is the best program of its kind in at least the province, probably beyond. And those events were partnering with RBC on day 1, meeting JMH, and then hiring Jen in 2014. And I am so thankful she said yes after a very awkward interview. And I mean, if I was bold enough to call myself the founder of the Institute, which would be pretty bold for me to do, but I will, I would have to call Jen the co-founder. So she brought these sets of not only skills, but just qualities, such as empathy and compassion and creativity and enthusiasm. And these were way more valuable than my rapidly aging list of BlackBerry stories that you've all have heard so many times. I'm just so thankful that she was there at the beginning and stuck around. She had this deep, deep belief, and still does, that if you build community, everything else takes care of itself. And she was so right. And even after she moved on and left us, she was our #1 supporter and cheerleader. She's the one that rallied the alumni to donate. And it's so clear to me that the one and only Alumni of the Year this year could be Jen McDonald. Now, in a cruel twist of fate, Jen is sitting at home recovering from a certain illness and couldn't be here, but she put together a video, thank you, and I know she's watching this on streaming, so at the end of this video, please show her a warm appreciation. So.
Hi everyone, sorry that I couldn't be there in person with you today. I definitely wish I could have. As I speak to you today, I feel immense gratitude. I feel grateful to belong to this community, to be a part of your lives. I have witnessed your growth through the good times and through the hard times. I have occasionally led you, but more importantly, I have learned from you. Each and every one of you has made me a better person. When I started at the Institute in 2014, I had no idea what I was doing. I hadn't met Ray yet, I'd seen him around, but he reached out to me and congratulated me on graduating and said, hey, would you maybe be interested in joining the team to help grow the program? I was so thrilled, I literally did jumping jacks. Despite not knowing what I was doing or how I was going to do it, what I did know was that the entrepreneurship program was the first place that I truly felt like myself, the place where I found my people. I was determined to share this feeling, this sense of belonging with as many people as I could. Brene Brown says that we have to belong to ourselves as much as we belong to others. My hope is that this program contributed to enhancing your sense of self-awareness, your self-compassion, and your self-actualization. That through the process of solving a problem or pursuing an idea, that you not only develop skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, and more, but that you laid the foundation for finding belonging in yourself. True belonging doesn't require us to change who we are. It requires us to be who we are. When you feel this sense of belonging to something larger than us, we experience the freedom to truly be ourselves. Even though we are all so different in this program, we are all truly connected. I've seen this connectedness result in higher levels of vulnerability, empathy, and higher levels of risk-taking, smart risk-taking, all of which make you better entrepreneurs. While a handful of people are here today to learn more about the businesses that we're starting, we also know that the business, the creation of it, is really just this fantastic launching point for us to find out who we are and for personal development. Over the years, I have had many, many moments of self-doubt, but it was your willingness to constantly show up in my office, to tell me your stories, to ask questions that kept me going. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for challenging me to be better, to measure the programs differently, and even to define the value of a pitch competition differently. Congratulations to all the entrepreneurs on stage tonight. Being on stage and accomplishing everything that it takes to get to that stage is already such a big win, and you have so much to be proud of. Good luck. Ray, thank you for everything that you've done for me. You've seen me through the good, the bad, and frankly, the funny. It means a lot to me to have you in my life. Emily Knight, I miss you. I appreciate you, and thank you for hustling alongside me. I seriously could not have done this without you. I'd like to invite everyone to raise their glass if they can. Cheers to 10 years of being an incredible community. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you all. That's the first time I saw that. So come on up, Mark. We'll get to the pitches in a minute. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Jen. Jen, we hope you feel better. And thank you for your guys' great remarks. You guys truly are the titans of this group here. So yeah, we are getting closer to the moment we've all been waiting for, the pitch portion of the evening. Now, to just set the stage, I just want to introduce the format of the evening. Each participant is going to come up. They're going to pitch for 5 minutes, and then there's going to be a 5-minute Q&A from the judges after. Simple enough. Once everyone has pitched, the judges will break during that time. They'll break into another room to deliberate. During that time, you're free to network, grab some drinks, grab some food as well too. I guess another note, for anyone who's ever presented on stage, you know that it can be quite a nerve-wracking experience. And so we'd ask you to all be respectful of those who are presenting by withholding your applause and your cheering until after the pitch is done, just so it doesn't distract them in the middle of their pitch. And also, please show your appreciation just by applauding for everybody once they are finished. I guess in keeping with our 10th anniversary theme, we are thrilled to have a panel of judges who are all LaunchPad alumni as well too. And I'd like to introduce them as well. So our first judge, we've got Rudy Schiebel. You can wave as well too if you like. Rudy was part of LaunchPad 2015, where he had the audacity to start a bison ranch. Well, that ranch is still going strong today, and he's also started his second successful business, which is an aquaponics cannabis business. We have Kirill Mendoza. There you go. Kirill and her partner, Michaela, pitched their business Little Blue Cloud at LaunchPad in 2017. They envisioned a world where students could get better mental health supports through technology. She now helps other entrepreneurs build their social impact businesses at Help Seeker Technologies. We have Ryan Wenger. There you are. Ryan had a tiny coffee shop under the stairs when he pitched in 2017. He's now expanded his business into the new library as a new location and in the Plus 15, as well as roasting his own beans, and he has shown remarkable resilience over the pandemic. And then we have Ormel Manuel. Ormel brought his idea to revolutionize used car buying to the stage in 2017, and he's been helping young entrepreneurs ever since. He has been an entrepreneur in residence at the Institute and now helps Platform Calgary achieve its mission to build the Calgary tech sector. And last and certainly not least, we've already heard of Aislinn, the wonderful Aislinn Grant here. Aislinn was in the first year of LaunchPad, and she has come a long way since selling bath bombs. She is the founder of her own design firm and also a not-for-profit that supports dozens of ambitious women, including a lot of MRU alumni. So thank you for all the judges. Okay, so it's game time. First up to bat, we've got Dale Swampy from OK Blankets.
Are we good? Okay. How's everyone doing tonight? Fantastic. So let's get started. My company name is Osaki Heo, or OK Blankets for short. We make indigenous handmade star blankets or star quilts. So our problem is there's no more bison robes, or at least there's a shortage of them, or they're very, very expensive. If you look in the picture, we have a chief there with the bison robe on. The bison robe provided sustenance and warmth for the indigenous people. In the late 1870s, this is a picture of Buffalo Bill, the US made it their policy to decimate the bison population as they recognized it as a food source. But it was more than that. It was a gift. It was a sign of respect. It was an offering, a sacrifice. And the indigenous people, if you receive one, it's one of the highest honors. Afterwards, the missionaries and the settlers decided to teach the Lakota tribes how to sew a star quilt or a star blanket as a skill. Afterwards, it was taught in the residential schools. My brother's in the crowd tonight. He learned how to make them there. And then after the residential schools closed, they taught them to indigenous inmates in the Canadian prisons. My name is Dale Swampy. I'm a third-year computer information systems student, majoring in computer science, and I minor in innovation and entrepreneurship. My Cree name is Osaki Heo, which means golden eagle. I'm a proud member of the Samson Cree Nation, and I've been tailoring blankets since 2016. This photo was taken in 2017, where I learned how to make the blankets, and that's in prison. So I got accepted into a program called Pathways. Pathways was a response to one of the 90 calls to action, and one of the 90 calls to action is to reduce the indigenous inmate population in the Canadian prisons. And that's me. Why choose Osaki Heo? So our value proposition is we're honoring the past, both with the bison and with the missionaries. We value reconciliation, both through the missionaries and of course through the TRC and bridging those two together. We promote indigenous through design, innovation, manufacturing, and employment, and we wouldn't be here tonight if we didn't value competition. So this is the opportunity slide. On the picture on the left, that's my chief, Vernon Saddleback. He's giving star blankets and blankets just as gift to the honoraries and dignitaries. And that's a picture of a powwow on the right, and there's lots of people that go there. So this slide's a bit of a hybrid of a go-to-market and a competitive analysis. I've been fortunate enough to have interviewed traditional star blankets. She makes strictly star blankets. She has a revenue of under $500K. 49 Design has a little bit more of a product choosing. They have a revenue of over $1 million. And you might find it a bit surprising that the largest revenue comes from Pendleton Blankets. They do Indigenous design on their blankets and their products, and they are not Indigenous owned. So the addressable market in North America, we have about 5 million Indigenous people, and in Canada alone, we have 3,100 reservations. One of OK's goals is to sell 1 blanket to each reserve. Our average profit per blanket is 27.8%, and our average price is about $483 and some change. The average cost of goods sold is $399.50, and my average blanket profit in dollars is $134.35, and this is paying somebody a livable wage at $21. The traction I've had so far, I first learned how to make blankets in 2016. I was selling them to friends and family. 2018, I was still selling to friends and family. 2019, I sold to a government agency. They gave me an offer of 80 blankets, which I couldn't fulfill. They had a 2-month deadline, and I was in school full-time. I was working part-time as a manager at a car wash. And my 2020 to 2021 growth is about 150% because I got a big break from another agency as well. They bought 20 blankets off me. So this is my go-to-market slide. To date, we have made $24,000 in revenue, and that was just through word of mouth. This year, we purchased a website, and we want to do some online advertising. Our goal is to do 85 blankets, and that's about at $40K. For 2023, we have events and powwows listed, but we do plan on doing those this year. And 2024 is when I graduate, and I can focus solely on OK blankets, and hopefully triple what happens in 2023. So making the star is very complex. For a king-size blanket, it requires 12 hours and 13.5 meters of material. You can see inside the star, it might be a little hard to count, but there's 200 individual diamond pieces. There is a simpler way of putting them together. It's just dividing the 8 diamonds and then working with individual rows. My ask tonight is $10,000 for the Social Enterprise Award or the JMH Award. What I plan to do with the money is purchase better machines, hire an employee to help me with inventory, and purchase wholesale material, which I have to buy a few at a time. Also, I'm asking $15,000 from Grant Design Services for packaging, brand identity, and website design, so it looks professional. I want to thank everybody here tonight, the judges, all the guests, for coming out. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at OK Blankets and Facebook as well. OK Blankets, and our website, osakiheo.com. Stay warm, everyone. Any questions?
Dale, you did such a good job. What a great pitch.
Thanks, Aislinn.
My question is, what is your biggest barrier right now to reaching your revenue goals in the next 3 years?
Right now, I would say time is my biggest barrier. Just with everything that's happening, school, full-time student. I do work for a nonprofit organization, and I also got some part-time work doing market research. And I would say employees as well would be another barrier, and space too. But I've been doing well, so I just make blankets in my parents' basement, and that's it.
All right, awesome, thank you so much.
I really like the bison angle on that one.
Yeah, thank you.
The obviously with scaling up and getting some more blankets out there. Is this is the making of the blankets something you can train someone pretty easily to help make, or is it a pretty skilled process?
Well, I'm not the only one who can make them, so there is people who do make them. The training process, starting somebody brand new would be, of course, that would take some time. Then I would just pay them more as they get better and better. I haven't put a time on how long it would take somebody brand new. But I have taught people before, even they haven't sewed, they've done beading, and they've learned pretty quick, but they gotta be willing, so, yeah.
That was really awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Just a quick question, 5 years from now, if you follow your plan, where do you think you'll be?
My goal is to be as big as Pendleton. So Pendleton makes per year about estimated 10 to 25 million in blanket sales. So I plan on using the value proposition of Indigenous owned. So my goal is to be as big as them in 5 years and have a manufacturing warehouse and stores. So it's very ambitious.
To just build off that question, who do you think you need in your team to be able to accomplish that dream?
Well, I've been growing my team just through networking with the Innovation Entrepreneurship Society, and just someone who knows how to sew. Of course, one of my value propositions is to hire Indigenous when I can. I think a team of Indigenous sewers would be great. And if I can find somebody who learns it where I learned it, I think that would be an amazing value for the company, so.
Awesome, great presentation.
Thank you. Let's go.
I originally got engaged with the Institute after I realized that I had that business concept, and I started just searching online, and I was already an existing Mount Royal student. But after searching online, I found the LaunchPad pitch competition as a way to secure funding. And so I went to one of their monthly meetups, and that's where I met Ray and a lot of the alumni, and they welcomed me in with open arms and enrolled me in the program.
All right, we are off to a wonderful start. We're just gonna get set up here for our next little bit here. But for our next pitch here, we've got Alex Brody and Jordan Brenda from Cryas Gaming Corporation.
Nice. Thank you, you got it first try. It's a hard one to pronounce sometimes, but you did good.
Cryas Gaming.
Yes, Cryas Gaming. Right. So my name is Jordan, this is Alex, and welcome to our pitch for Cryas Gaming. Now, before we talk about Cryas, I want to talk to you about our main inspiration, 100 Thieves. They're one of the most successful esports teams in the United States. They compete across multiple video game titles, and they have a massive fan base. Now, when Alex and I first met a few years ago in our program, we wanted to join 100 Thieves for their production team as part of an internship we had to do, but we couldn't get it because we're Canadian. And you know, that sounds a little sad, I know, but it actually really got us the drive to want to do it ourselves. And last year, Cryas Gaming began. But there's still a few problems that we face in Canadian esports that our American competitors don't really have to deal with. So sponsorship is the main revenue driver in esports, but there's a gap here between sponsors and teams, where often the teams here don't have the necessary framework relating to branding, meaning they can't get viewership. Tons of these teams are competing, but they aren't being broadcasted, so therefore they're not being showcased.
So here at Cryas Gaming, our solution is to bridge that gap by working with teams to put on a broadcast for them. Essentially what we are doing is we are facilitating a broadcast to allow teams to work on that brand engagement, as well as giving them the support that they really need to build that brand awareness, and also supporting them with event coordination. Essentially, what we were doing in a nutshell is we were giving these teams a platform to showcase their skills to a wider audience, while also welcoming them to bring in their smaller, more condensed communities to work with us and hopefully build that viewership component. So let's talk a little bit about the market opportunity. So we all know that esports industry is on the rise. We've all heard that at some point. But in a year where pretty much all competitive sports, games, everything were affected by COVID-19, the esports industry actually held strong, bringing in $641 million of revenue from sponsorships alone. And as you can see here, there are some conventional gaming brands, but there are actually other brands who aren't traditionally in the gaming space that are starting to take notice, indicating that it's a very opportunistic market. And so let's talk about why that market is appealing. So this is our current target market at Cryas Gaming. As you can see, it's actually relatively small, and that's because it represents only one esports title. We're focusing in on the players, but quickly we get that hone in on that competitive focus, hence the esports component of all this. And our target market is essentially a domino effect in the sense that as we expand and reach more game titles, our target market will grow and essentially will multiply depending on the game. But we found our focus here right now with the Canadian collegiate players.
And this is a map of 17 different teams across Canada and the universities they represent. So these collegiate teams work with us right now, and they have really validated the problem and the solution that we're offering for them. And like I said, they compete in our events, and they also give us a lot of great feedback so we can continue to improve our future programming.
And so now you might be wondering, we found this great market to work with. How are we going to turn that into money? And it all comes back to the monetization and sponsorship component that I touched on earlier. In fact, 75% of esports revenue right now actually comes from sponsorship. So to have a successful business model in the esports industry, these are both a requirement. And it goes back to the viewership component. Both monetization and sponsorship are driven by viewers, which we are doing our absolute best to drive at Cryas.
And this is how we're going to do it. So this year, we're going to stay in the online space. We want to continue working with the amateur and collegiate scene, but we also need a local sponsor so we can start having more events, and with that, more teams and bigger prize pools to entice them. Next year, we want to start having some live events and partner with a regional sponsor so we can help bring those events to life, and we're going to shift our focus over to the semi-pro scene. And a couple years from now, we'd ultimately like to bring Canadian esports to the North American level, competing in lots of North American events with our American friends at the pro scene, having multiple national sponsors supporting us. As I said at the beginning, my name is Jordan. I'm one of the co-founders, and I have a communications degree, a marketing internship, and I currently work as a content producer in Kelowna.
And I'm Alex. Like Jordan, I also had the pleasure of graduating from the communications degree focusing in broadcast media studies. My background comes from the community programming space, but my forte is the live event production element of it. And we also quickly wanted to introduce you to Dawson. Now, Dawson joined Cryas Gaming as a player back when we started, when we basically founded the company. Since then, he's transitioned to an advisory role, and don't get me wrong, Jordan and I, we're gamers, but we'll leave the competitive stuff to the pro players, and Dawson brings in a variety of perspectives from that point of view. And so our ask, we need your help. Essentially, we all know in the media industry, the higher budget, the higher the production value. So we are asking for $10,000 from JMH & Co. to allow us to expand our operations and improve our production so we can in turn drive that viewership component. This money would go towards things like building out assets, building filler content, coming up with content ideas to make it a more engaging viewer experience, as well as bringing on talent staff to make the broadcast once again more engaging. This also would go back to our target market where we would like to expand into more esports titles, effectively growing our market and increasing that viewership component that we're relying on. And so with that, we'll leave it to questions. We're hoping you have a lot, and thank you so much for your time today.
Lots of questions, but easy ones.
It was an excellent presentation. I know how hard it is to get up there, so good on you for doing that.
Thank you.
What has been some of the feedback that you've gathered from current customers on the events that you've hosted so far, and what do the viewers say?
That is a good question. I was just... the button wasn't working. I was trying to get to a slide as soon as you were saying that, because we literally have a slide that shows some of that. So if it gets it up, we'll tell you. We can tell you, but I wanted to show you, because that's kind of the...
Yeah,
we'll tell you then instead.
The really nice thing is the teams, although some may look at them as competitors, we look at them as collaborators. So every broadcast, we try to schedule meetings with the participants and say, what do you want that would improve this experience for you? But also, what do you want that would improve this experience for your community members? So we have a really nice distribution platform called Discord. It's pretty much a messaging website where we have a very organized server with over 100 current players in it. And basically, we provide feedback mechanisms after every stream, whether it's the technical elements to the viewer engagement experience. And we've actually built out, we started out just broadcasting their practices. And from there, we've actually taken their advice, and we're taking it to the next level and doing events and proper games.
Great job, guys. That
Thank
was
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
I know nothing about this industry, so just ignore my ignorance. But how do you plan to attract pro players in 2024? What do they need?
Yeah, so essentially what we're trying to do is, in order to attract them, we need to be at that level where people know who we are, right? So in order for us to grow, that's where we have to start doing these events so we get more eyes. And I also want to make it clear too that these teams need sponsors, right? All these amateur teams, but they're going through us. So the more viewers that we get, it's all through us, so we'll get nice sponsorships and we'll continue to grow, and then that's kind of building on top of it with our go-to-market plan. So once we start working with more players, it's called the bubble scene, but we were just saying semi-pro. That's gonna start attracting some of those players as they get into the pro scene when they start working with us. And then in turn, we're hoping that that attracts some of the pro players, and then we kind of grow from there.
I'm the same as Aislinn. I don't know a ton about this
Yeah,
space,
no worries.
but in terms of obviously you're getting more people using your service, do you guys need to get any sort of infrastructure servers or anything like that to continue hosting, or is it something that you can do all third party?
So Twitch is a fantastic streaming platform, and right now, actually, our broadcast is pretty affordable when it comes to that sort of thing. I wouldn't say that there's any barriers associated with just serving and putting on a really good broadcast. Obviously, like I said, the higher the budget, the greater the production value. But right now, it's beautiful just being able to stream for free, right? We don't have to worry about any subscription service for that. And it's a free platform where anybody can come on to watch as well.
And Alex does everything. He does a really good job behind the scenes. He makes it look incredible. So, props.
Thanks.
You're doing great.
Keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, that's very interesting. That is definitely a growing market. So I think you guys found a really good niche.
Mm-hmm.
How do you choose what games you're broadcasting?
That is a great question. So initially we started out, and the first title we competed in is called Rocket League. For those of you who may not know, it's pretty much soccer with cars, is the easiest way I can explain that.
It's crazy.
But so right now, the best games to get into are free-to-play games, because anybody can play them, and therefore anybody can be really a viewer who understands it. And we also felt that some games are much harder to understand, so the easier games like car soccer are very easy for someone who might not necessarily already be a player to adopt and actually become a part of. So usually our games are mostly decided on that basis, but it's also based on popularity, right? The more popular games are the ones that we're going to go for at Cryas.
Fortnite. I'm just kidding, not Fortnite.
Not Fortnite.
Maybe.
Maybe.
If there's any Fortnite gamers, then we'll consider it.
The one tip that I have for new grads is try something new that you think that you wanted to do. Maybe you did a degree, maybe you did something and you weren't sure where that was going to go. We live in a world that has changed over the last 24 months with COVID. You can work anywhere, do anything that you want. So jump in it. You never know what you'll learn from your experience, and the time that you have now, you're never going to get it back again. So immerse yourself, try something new, and yeah, you got this.
My tip for new graduates is to reach out to the alumni community, because we've all been in your shoes, and now we have a bit more experience, and talking to other alumni, I've learned some things and gotten help from them.
All right, awesome. So for our next person coming up to pitch, we have Crystal Way presenting with Memoir Candles.
We're good. Okay. Hello, everyone. I would like to introduce you to Memoir Candles. My name is Crystal Way, and I am an award-winning research assistant for mathematical modeling in infectious diseases. And I am the owner of Memoir Candles. The reason why I am the best fit for starting this business is because I understand the sacrifice and the commitment it takes to start your own business, because I come from an immigrant family that wanted to start their new life in Canada. My father first came to Canada. He faced a lot of discrimination, and he barely spoke any English, but with hard work and dedication, he was able to build a successful business. I created a candle business because I just couldn't find the high quality scents that were sustainable, and I just couldn't find the scents that I personally connected with. And that's why I created Memoir Candles. Now, I want you to think about the time you're eating breakfast as a kid, or wrapping yourself in fresh linen sheets, or walking into a bakery. I created these scents to connect with my memories, but what about yours? Maybe you have a fond memory of a favorite breakfast scent or a vacation spot. That's why I'll be using crowdsourcing to build a community to decide what the next scents will be. And that way, everyone can connect with their fondest memories. Memoir also offers high-quality ingredients that keep our customers' well-being in mind. We use soy wax, wood wicks, and high-quality scents. And additionally, we also offer refills. So when you're done with your original candle, you just take your refill and you pop it into the jar. So stores have been recruiting more candle businesses. 7 out of 10 households have candles solely in the US, and makes $3.14 billion annually, and increasing by 11.8% each year. Each candle, for 2 ounces, it costs us $2.07, and for our 8.5 ounce candle, it costs us $8.81. We make a profit margin of 74% and 71% respectively. Our customers are able to buy our 2 ounce candles to find their favorite candle scent in order for them to be more likely to buy a $30 candle. So far, we are creating our first 100 fans. We've made 44 sales since February 24th, 2022. And we are developing our e-commerce and social media presence, so our customers are able to come around the journey with us because we use community marketing practices. By using this data, we'll be able to create strong customer connections, and as well as more unique scents. As we grow, we will be selling at events, and we will continue to enter into retail and reach out to large retailers that go across nationwide, such as Nordstrom. Our customers buy our candles because we offer unique scents and sustainability, and the fact that we offer refills. And as well, they get to vote on the next scent that it will be created. As you can see, we have many competitors in the market, but none of them offer the community as well, and we are just the total package. In 2022, we expect to sell 444 units with a profit of $6,020, and in 2023, we expect to sell 8,000 candles with a profit of $108,480, and in 2024, we expect to sell 80,000 and making a profit of $1,084,800. My ask from JMH, our Connect First, is $10,000 to continue to upscale our production to keep up with demand, such as buying equipment like this 35-liter wax melter, and continue to upkeep our inventory and keep up with retail demand in the future. For our ask for $15,000 from the grant design is because we want our customers to have a beautiful product, and we know they want that too. We want them to we want to develop our branding for our business, and we think that Aislinn Grant is the best person for this. And I'll be selling candles after the pitches, so if anyone wants to grab a candle, let me know. And yeah, so this is our Instagram. Website's gonna be up soon. So yeah, I'd like to open up the floor for any questions.
Great presentation. Thank you so much for that. And I was able to smell some of the candles. They're fantastic. Thank you very much.
Awesome, thanks.
So what are some of the biggest hurdles that you're facing right now as a business owner, and how will the funding from LaunchPad help you with overcoming those obstacles?
I think making production is probably the biggest hurdle. I stayed up till 4 in the morning last night making candles for this event. And with buying this equipment, I won't have to do that. I can just come home, pour it, and make it in a well-mannered time, so I don't have to stay until 4 in the morning as well. And yeah, I would say that being a full-time student and as well as being in research and volunteering has definitely been a hurdle.
Great job. That was so awesome. And they do smell so good. So everyone should buy some candles after this.
Yeah, let me know.
I think that the refillable angle is really cool. And so how do you plan to get those to customers? Are you planning to ship them? Are you planning for that to be a pickup option? Are you scaling that kind of year per year, or do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, for sure. So I noticed with brands in the past, they, for example, Milk Jar, they let you bring your own personal jar to the business and they refill it, give it to you a week later or to whatever demand takes. But we don't want that. We don't want to create that job for the customer. We want them to have it immediately in their hands. So that means that they can buy it off their website, or when we go into retail, they'll be able to buy it. So that way it's instant. They don't have to wait for anything. It's already there in their home.
Awesome. And quick follow-up question. How do you plan to stay competitive compared to these competitors that you've outlined?
Well, with our community crowdsourcing, I believe that building the community, having people able to vote for their cents, no one has done that yet. And I believe that creating that customer connection is really important.
Good job. The one reminds me of Fruit Loops, so I want one of those. Where do you source the ingredients or the materials for your candles?
Everything is sourced through either Calgary suppliers or local Canadian suppliers, because I want to be able to support other local businesses.
Awesome. Thank you.
Candles smell great. Especially love the Fruit Loops one. Great presentation. I'm just curious, a little bit more behind your marketing strategy. What channels have you found to be successful in actually finding customers?
So far, I've been selling them at the university. I have literally been carrying them in my backpack and selling them to people. I was actually inspired by you from the barrel, hearing your story about how you sold at the university and you're selling coffees, and I was like, I want to do that, and that's how I decided to start off. But yeah, we want to grow 100% to e-commerce, and yeah.
So of the candles that you sold so far, what are your customers saying, and what is the most popular scent?
So we currently sold out of breakfast, which is, I'm sure everyone has smelled, and yeah, everyone has been just saying that they really like that we use natural ingredients, and we are avoiding paraffin wax, which has like carcinogens in them. And yeah, they just love the strength and the scent, and that is able to connect with that nostalgia that they have with their childhood, and that's why I think that our breakfast cereal is probably the most, is our best seller, not probably best.
Thank you.
The biggest moment that stands out to me from Mount Royal was my aha moment when I got asked at an event who my customer was, and I told them it was going to be everybody. And that's when I realized I needed to pick a customer and narrow it down to not everybody. And I would say that was like my biggest aha moment, and when the light bulb went off for me at Mount Royal was picking my customer.
I guess if there's like one thing that sticks to me from my experience at Mount Royal, I would say the support I really got from the BCIS professors. So because it's like such a small degree, it's you get to have that really good relationship with the professors. And so I remember when we first pitched for BCIS, And that's what the first thing we pitched us, was like the support we got from our dean and our professors, really. Something that is overwhelming, that we're like, actually, yeah, I think even if technically it's not within our degree, the support that we got from them was just still something that's awesome.
All right, awesome, thank you. So next up, we've got Lana Austin from Husky Jocks.
Hi folks, my name is Lana Austin. I am the founder of Husky Jocks. I am a proud mom and a mature student. Looking at this picture of my son, it's hard even to believe that he was considered husky. This was the first year he was going to play baseball, and unfortunately the size that he was supposed to have for the uniform didn't fit. So first we needed to figure out the pants. We ended up going up a couple of sizes and then paying the money to get them hemmed. They weren't perfect, but it was the best we could do. Next, it was the jock. Again, it didn't fit. So we had to go up a size, and then we realized the cup would be too big if we went up a size, so then we had to go down a size in the jock and then combine the two. Again, it wasn't perfect, but it was the best that we could do. And it's what we needed to do to allow him to play since they were mandatory. It turns out this problem was more common than we thought. 1 in 5 kids in North America are considered husky. Depending on the environment that you grew up in, husky can mean a lot of different things. It could be fat, it could be curvy, it could be thick, it could be muscular, it could be meaty. And unfortunately, for 1 in 5 kids, as good as it's going to get is what they're dealing with daily. In 2030, husky kids are set to reach 18 million in North America. So a lot of people ask me, why can't you just go up a size? Well, here's the problem with pants and clothing, is that as the waist gets bigger, and often the husky kids need to have more space in the waist, thighs, and bum, well, the legs get longer, the length of the pants. And so when the legs get longer, well, the crotch gets lower. And when the crotch gets lower, the knees gets lower. So this isn't just about length, it's about fit. So my solution is twofold. One is to provide an adjustable jock, which has an adjustable waist, adjustable thigh, and adjustable cup. Secondly, we have the husky baseball pant. We cut that, instead of on the straight leg, which is typical, we cut that on a curve. There also is a hidden gusset in the bottom, which allows for more stretch and comfort. And the last, we have Velcro in the heel, which allows you to adjust the length. These aren't just better designed for the user, but it's also smart business decisions. By having an adjustable cup container, then we're able to produce the same thing across the whole product line. By allowing the Velcro fitting, then I'm not overrun by SKUs because I can have an extra small to extra large instead of dealing with a normal pant size. All of my products are designed to look like their counterpart. The goal is for inclusivity and to feel like they're a part of the team. So my biggest profit margin is the jock, and it's 86% when I can actually have it produced. And this is a really good thing for me because jocks can be used for multiple different sports, and it's year-round, unlike a baseball pant. So there's 3 options right now that you can buy pants and buy. So you can buy standard off the rack, you can buy off the rack and then have them hemmed or altered, or you can get hand-me-downs. Husky Jocks are the only one that is off the rack, ready to wear for husky kids, and the only ones that are adjustable. So right now I'm in my prototyping phase, and I've been lucky enough to partner up with Little League Alberta. They help over 3,000 kids to play baseball. And what I've been asked is to come to their uniform fitting days, and where I can introduce parents who are really struggling to find the confidence for their children to fit them into properly fitting clothes. My go-to-market strategy is quite grassroots. I plan to go to tournaments and be able to pre-order items, to have people try it on, to drive people to the website, to be able to take pictures and photos and conversations for social media and build my marketing. Because my product saves teams and parents time, money, and energy, I'm placing my product at a premium price product. Ironically, it'll actually save them money for the parents that actually buy the clothes and have to get them altered. So my ask is this. I'd like Grant Design to help me with product design and some more clarity on my branding, because I do have floating between two logos. You'd appreciate that. And also $10,000 for JMH Co. or Connect First, where I'd like to buy more materials. I'd like to explore intellectual property and continue some marketing. Really, what the goal of all of these things is to build a strong foundation for my business to grow. So why should you have your confidence in me? Well, as you can see, I can sympathize with the user. Look at those thighs, it's great. You know, and it's not that I have years of experience in marketing and sales. It's not that I have a minor in entrepreneur and innovation. It's not that I have a major in information design, which really focuses on empathy and the end user. I knew this was gonna happen. The reason why you should focus and have your confidence on me is because I'm a mom. I'm a mom who would do anything to solve the problems that my son's been dealing with his whole life. And I strongly believe that I have the solution to help not just him, but millions like him. Thank you.
Great job.
Sorry, I tried not to cry.
I started crying as well, so same page. Great pitch. I think that having less SKUs is so smart. It's actually a really scalable model, so kudos to you for thinking of all that. What's been your biggest business learning this far in the journey?
To not discount your journey in the sense that when like I originally said, I thought this was a problem that I was having. I thought there's other things that I didn't mention in the pitch, like sensitivity to tags. And I thought that was just my kid. And as I talked to more and more parents, they're like, oh yeah, and they really hate tags. So it's little things that we're putting in the stitch. It's a cover stitch so that it's not rubbing. I'm not using tags. Anywhere where I do need a tag, I'm putting it in the fold of the crotch. So the material is, the information's there, but it's not affecting them. Any small logos that I am gonna have, it's gonna be on the knee where there's double stitching, double material. So it's not gonna affect them at all. So there was things that I just made the assumption that it was just my kid. It was just me that I was dealing with. And it just wasn't true. There's millions of kids that are dealing with this, and it's a very common trait throughout. So.
And this is an unrealistic question, but let's say you get 1,000 orders tomorrow.
Yeah.
What would you need to fulfill those orders on time?
Well, I have been trying to mentor a little bit with Tyler McCombs at Devon and Lane. I don't think he knows I was going to say that, but that's okay. What I would need is a manufacturer that would be able to produce this, and he has helped me understand that there's, not even understand, but just learn that there's people in Calgary that can fulfill those orders. So I have everything I need. I have the materials. I still need the elastics, but other than that, I could do it. I just need the money and the backing. So.
That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
And Aislin's second question took part of mine, but I'll extend it. How for the prototype materials? How have you been making the material that you have?
Sorry,
now?
Can you repeat that?
For the prototypes that you've been making, how have you been making those?
So we're actually making them with the product, or with the material. So the big thing is for the kids to look like their counterparts. So I already have the material, and then what we've been doing, I've been working with, on my thank you slide, Michelle and Trenton, and I've got a couple of people that they have given me their measurements, and so what I do is get their measurements, and then we go back and forth. So now we're at a point where we're really at about 95%. He's got a pair that he's completely happy with, and we're just asking him that they're doing evaluations right now. So I've asked him to go out and play with them, see how they feel, if he needs any other adjustments, and like little things that we came up with our last prototype is we realized with the gusset and everything, he still needed a little bit more room, so that's why we changed how we were cutting the material and giving him that little curve versus the straight cut, and that just gave him the room that he needed in his thighs and his bum, which is his problem area. So, yeah.
Awesome, great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, as someone who always struggles finding the right clothes, I just want to say thank you for what you're doing.
Absolutely. I hear that a lot, so I appreciate it, though.
Yeah, for sure. So my question for you is...
Sorry. Like holding down on here, okay.
Yeah, all good. How long do you estimate they're going to use your product for?
Well, that's the great thing. So most times they're going to use it for one season. you know, the debate was to, if I put the Velcro in the back saying, well, now you're allowing them to not buy your product again. But let's be honest, if a husky kid is growing 2 or 3 inches in a year, they're no longer a husky kid. So that's not my concern. So oftentimes the kids are constantly growing, so they're gonna use the product for probably 1 year at a time, and then they're going to just keep having to go. There is going to be a little bit of a wiggle room for them, so they're not tight, obviously. That's the whole goal of it, not to be tight. But they will be repeat customers, I truly believe, because this company and me believes in and provides something that they need. And it's also generational. You know, often, it's not always the same, but often you have a brother who's dealing with the same thing. I hear all the time, oh, when I was a kid, I did this, and now my son is dealing with this. I'm so glad I found you. So,
awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
Incredible presentation.
Thank you.
You sound so passionate. It's getting me fired up right now, actually.
Thanks.
So I guess my question is around the prototyping. Are you manufacturing or prototyping this yourself, or are you working with a manufacturer? What does that relationship look like?
Right, so I'm on a small scale, and it was funny, when I first kind of had this dream and passion, I said to Ray, well, I gotta take sewing lessons, and he's like, don't do the sewing lessons, you can hire that out. So after some, it took a while, but I've got someone, a seamstress, who does all the prototypes for me, because we're doing small scale, and so my goal is to perfect it with her, and then go into a manufacturer, and I've priced all that out, and everything would work out. I can do it through Canada or through China, but it's the small scale, so we can really get in there and go, oh, we need a ½ an inch here, and create those prototypes and the patterns, and then I can give those to the manufacturer to reproduce.
Awesome, thanks.
Great.
The Institute enabled a lot of my ideas by providing me with so many resources, from mentors to money, teaching experiences as well too.
It taught me everything I wouldn't have learned in my degree. So if you go through the degree, you get to go through accounting classes, HR, marketing, et cetera, but how to actually do it yourself, that's something that I've learned in the Institute. So like the mentorship I got with regards to how I do it myself is the one that I've learned the most from.
All right, next up we've got Rod Hernandez with Mineral Drip.
Please. Let's go. Thank you, Mike. Wow. Hey. Good evening. So my name is Rod, and I'm the owner of Mineral Drip Studios. I'm a student at MRU, and I'm an entrepreneur. So Artist Entertainment Studios is something you may or may not have heard of. They're places that you go and you learn how to draw or do pottery, paint. Currently there wasn't a place for you to do jewelry, and until now. So I created a studio where it's actually my parents' garage, thanks to them. And people come in and we redesigned it in a way that people can come and create custom jewelry that is honestly limitless. It's up to your imagination. You come in, we have instructors or myself, and we'll teach you how to create a design that you come. So you'll see here, these pictures I actually took in our own studio, and that's one of the creations that someone made at our facility that is actually really beautiful. So. One of the things between jewelry, pottery, and art is they all create an experience. However, with jewelry, you have a little bit more, or a plus side. The neat thing about it is that it is a great experience. It is something that is tangible, something that you can wear, something that is personalized. And I mean, with me, I have 1 ring, but now I have like 4. So it's something that you come and you do over and over again. The opportunity here lies simply in looking at a model color that is similar to Color Me Mine. Some of you may have heard of it. It is a place where you come and you make pottery and paint it to whatever you want to design. There are 60 locations in the US and Canada, and there are 6 in Calgary currently at the moment. So we are going to be modeling ourselves similar to their scale, but just improve it that much more. Our target market has been currently 87% women and 13% men. Most of what we have been doing is like bachelorette parties, girls' nights, double dates, couples coming in and making each other rings, anniversaries, which has found to be a lot of success. As you'll see in a couple of the pictures up here, that is some of the things that people have created. Why me? So if I'm not charming enough yet, hopefully you'll warm up to me. But I am a certified jewelry designer, and I took 2 years of jewelry. I have experience in making jewelry for the last 2 years. I have 4 years in experience of sales and customer service, so that is something that I bring to the table, as well as the judges will see some rings that we have been created in the studio, so take a look at those as well. Currently, we have served 112 customers. We started last year in April, end of April, and we've done 26 workshops just out of the little garage. We have Instagram pages and Facebook, and you'll see some pictures of people that have come and created different pieces of jewelry that actually are all over Alberta, and some from the US that have come up. Our business model is simple. The gemstone workshop is $110 a person. Each workshop can fit around 5 people. And so if we look at full workshops, people are doing $550. A cost per workshop is $90 to run, and the profit's around $460. So looking at this model, I'll show you what it looks like to have a profit per studio. So this is a full-size, full-scale studio that we'll be able to run. So we'd be doing about 312 workshops. You can look at the revenue, about $171,000. Looking at the cost per workshop, the margin is 78%. With our fixed cost, at the end of the day, you're looking at $134,000 in profit for that studio. Over the next couple of years, we're looking at opening one every year, as I have had a lot of interest in Red Deer and Lethbridge. So we are looking to go over to those sides of the province, as people have had that demand. I'm asking today for $10,000 from JMH or Connection Co. just to be able to open a full-size studio. One of the things that people love about this experience is that they can bring loved ones and friends and be able to have a space where you can create something intimate and create a memory that will last forever. Silver, unlike pottery or art, doesn't really expire or has a chance of breaking. It is a durable metal, and it's something that people can also use in their everyday life. So we would use those funds to have equipment, use more like material, be able to facilitate benches and workspaces to accommodate people and be able to have more slots of time for them to come in and do that workshop. So thank you so much for your time, and I'll turn it over to the judges for some questions. Yeah.
Great presentation. Thank you so much for that. And I saw some of the jewelry. It looks fantastic. How are your current customers finding you, and what are they saying after the classes that you've already done?
So currently it has been word of mouth, how we've been doing it. We have done some ads on Facebook and Instagram and through Google as well. And we've had about a 700% ROI. So we have been doing really well through those little market settings, and that's how we've been finding most of our clientele.
Have you had any repeat customers?
Yes. I haven't counted in that slide the repeat customers, but we've had about a 37% return of customer.
That's awesome.
Just a weird question. How did you do this with COVID?
So the reason our numbers weren't very high is because we had a restriction limit on the amount of people. So the studio is actually a registered business and it is licensed. So we had a capacity of 3 people at a time. So that's how we did it. We had masks. Everything was sanitized.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Great job.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask a little bit more about your cost. I saw on the slide that it was $90 cost per workshop,
yes.
Which is fabulous. It seems low to me, so I just wanted to get a little bit more info on that.
Yeah, so the cost of the workshop, that's to simply run our workshop. So that actually covers your silver and your gemstones. And the way I've been able to keep it low is I've been able to find suppliers that actually are really generous and have actually even donated some of the silver, as we actually do help some kids to fund their education, part of the funds that we use, which I didn't disclose, but we do help them out, and they've just wanted to donate and has allowed us to partner with them, help kids, and also be able to create timeless jewelry. So that's cool. That's my question. Great, thank you.
tip for new students is ask all the questions all the time. Don't care if it's annoying. You're not there to please anybody else except yourself.
My tip for new students is go out, give it a try. It's the best thing you can do.
All right, for our next presenter here, we've got Dina Ibrahim, who will present with Hyatt.
So imagine this. You go to the gym, but you're extremely comfortable in what you're wearing. Your clothes might be too tight, or your skin might be showing in a place that you don't want it to. Well, unfortunately, this is the issue for many Muslim women when they go to the gym. So their hijabs aren't fitted properly because either they have two options. They use traditional hijabs or they use the current sports hijabs. Traditional hijabs are unreliable and they're unsafe because they have extra fabric that can be caught up on equipment. They are flattering though. Now, when we go to current sports hijabs that are available, they're unreliable, they're unflattering, and they're uncomfortable. Now, when I say unflattering, I mean this. So 2 in 3 girls are unhappy with the current sports hijabs that they have. And actually, this is the most common sports hijab, and it wasn't even designed by Muslim women. Muslim women were just asked at the end if they were okay with it, and we're like, yeah, sure, but we shouldn't have said that. Anyways, I have come up with a solution. And you might be wondering, well, why are you the right person to fix this issue? Well, first, I've been a hijabi for almost 10 years now. And second, I've started a brand selling affordable and high-quality hijabs to Muslim women all across Canada. I started this brand because I realized that the modest fashion industry isn't inclusive to all Muslim women. So I started this brand to basically help create an area or a community where Muslim women from any ethnicity, size, or no matter how they look can feel included. So in this brand, I ended up making $1,500 in sales last year. This was through e-commerce and small retailers, and actually I sold out in small retailers in 2 weeks only because of my brand. So we launched in March 2021, and again we started selling in small retailers in June 2021. And then we began negotiations with a larger retailer, some of you might know it, but it's Winners and Marshalls. They have over 279 stores in Canada. And actually in 3 weeks, we'll be putting our hijabs in their stores, so look out for that. And then actually, while I was making my brand, I noticed there was a gap in the market for sports hijabs, so I would like to work on that, and that's when I started. September 2021 is when I started. So there's actually a total market of 526,000 women in Canada alone and 1.72 million Muslim women in America. And actually, most of this market is untouched because Nike or any other brand that focuses on hijabs, they market to professional athletes. So what I wanted to do is market to all of Muslim women and just people who go to the gym or just work out nonchalantly, casually, you know. So anyways, my sports hijab solution is actually, I'm wearing it right now. So I'm very comfortable in it, obviously, if I'm willing to show 300 people of me in it. But it's flattering, it has UV protection, it's cool touch, and it has odor control as well. And hopefully with LaunchPad money, it'll be sustainable as well. And the difference of this is that it actually has a magnetic hold at the back, which gives you this traditional chic look that this model is wearing. All the images are my own, by the way. And basically, it's a Turkish hijab style. That's what we decided to make the hijab look like. So most Muslim women are comfortable in wearing that. And yeah. So anyways, we're trying to sell this for $39.99. Producing and packaging cost is $14.89. And we have a gross margin of $24. So we've already made $6,000 since the start of 2022, and this is because of Winners and Marshalls, and also because of just repeating our new customers as well. So this year, hopefully with the large retailers and e-commerce, we're looking at making $124,000. And next year, we're hoping to make, it's a very nice number, $1,700,000 in profit. So what's our go-to-market strategy? Well, the brand is all about the Muslim woman. So We connect to Muslim women through Instagram. So this is my Instagram page. We have a large following that we've only made in only a year. And we've done this through influencers or Instagram ads or just through word of mouth. It's very easy to spread in the Muslim community when you have a good product. So I am looking for $10,000, please, because with winners, producing such a large amount is very difficult. So I need to make money to basically get a warehouse if I do end up producing a lot of hijabs. And then I also need materials and marketing money for my sports hijab. That's just newly starting. We already have the fabric chosen and the producers, so we just need the money. And the grant. Hi, Ainsley. So I need $15,000 to rebrand, or not rebrand, but basically make my elegant formal brand into an elegant sports brand. And we have a strong image, so we need to make sure this carries out throughout our whole entire brand as well. And we need to attract the right humans. Obviously, it's very nice having your grant in 279 stores, just to say that again. But yeah, if you want to see more, there's my website, my Instagram, and my Facebook, and thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask a little bit about the material. Is this something that a competitor could easily source and make, or is there kind of any proprietary rights that you have?
Yeah, so basically for the fabric type that I'm choosing, it's from Escafé. They're a very large manufacturer, and actually the fabric is made out of ground coffee beans, which is super cool. Hi, Ryan. But yeah, this is the brand that we're going with. Obviously, I haven't contacted them yet because I don't know my production or anything like that, but hopefully with the funds, I'll be able to get all that settled. Yeah.
Where do you do all your manufacturing for the jobs?
At my house, in the computer room. It's the prayer room, and my mom does not like that. So a warehouse would be very nice.
So if money wasn't an issue and you had the space, how many do you think you could sell in a year?
So I actually talked about this with the larger retailers, and hopefully we're looking at selling 70,000 units. So that's only 7 hijabs every month in 200 stores. So it's not that much when you look at it. So scaling is very important to me when it comes to my business. Yeah.
That was awesome. You're like 99% there, so
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The big question I have is, how big is your team? And
It's only me.
Only you?
Only me, and it's only my funds too. And the thing is, Winners pays 30 days later, so it's my money out of my pocket, which I don't have. I'm a student. Please help me. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the shipping costs and how that sort of impacts some of your profit margins? Are you selling direct to consumer right now?
So direct to consumer, basically they only pay $15 worth of shipping and I pay the rest. This is just so that it's basically a marketing tactic. It's to get them to buy. For larger retailers, they are doing the shipping themselves, so I don't have to pay out of pocket. But again, just bringing in my products too, I have to pay for shipping that as well. So that's a lot of money.
Do you have any plans to do any collaborations or brand partnerships with larger brands in the next couple of years?
So for now, I'm just focusing on Winners, so I want to make sure that goes well. But I'm also looking at other brands such as Hudson's Bay, Nordstrom, stuff like that. I do have partnerships with a lot of Muslim influencers, so they range anywhere from 8,000 followers to over 1 million followers, and hopefully through them, I'm looking to grow my customer base. Yeah. So I did a really good job in establishing a community aspect of my brand. Yeah. Thank you.
So the business that we started in Mount Royal, it went on for 6 years. We were making this watch. We sold 20,000 units of it, sold it all over the world, but a series of honestly big mistakes, bad decisions, and some bad luck brought that story to an end. But now I've moved in and taken really the hard lessons that you learn from reflecting on what worked and what didn't work. And now, never in my wildest dreams could have imagined that we would be where we are right now as a company just 2 years in, and none of that would have been possible without the accelerated learnings that you get from trying to do a startup when you're a university student.
So my original business didn't go as we hoped, and it was a great experience. But now with Flamingo, I'm running a team of over 30 people. We've raised over $1.9 million and have amazing things on the horizon for 2022. So really, it was a springboard for myself and our amazing team, who are mostly all Mount Royal students, with one of my co-founders from Mount Royal as well, to do something bigger, more audacious, and more amazing.
Musqua. Yeah, you're good.
All right, for our last pitch of the day here, we've got Aaron Cregan Doherty from Musqua Backcountry Foods.
Hello, everyone. I'm so fortunate to go last after such amazing presentations. So I want to introduce Musqua Backcountry Foods. So my name is Erin Cregan Doherty. I'm founder, president, and Métis entrepreneur of Musqua Backcountry Foods. We are a dehydrated and freeze-dried food business, and I want to tell a little bit about how we came into being. So I am a passionate outdoors person. I also am very passionate about food. Anyone who knows me knows I send them endless recipes, and I also have extensive experience in the food industry from catering as well. So I spend quite a lot of time in the backcountry. I always joke the first time I went and worked for an outfitter, I was supposed to go in for 2 weeks, and I stayed in for 3 months. So in that sort of whole experience, I had a lot of knowledge on what was required for backcountry food. And what I found is that a lot of the outfitters were having a lot of trouble finding food that met dietary restrictions for their clients. And we either had to custom make it or it was very expensive. So this led to the market opportunity. So in our goal in Musqua Backcountry Foods is to make food that is tailored to specific diets. So whether it's keto, gluten-free, or an allergen-free line. And then also to be able to produce bulk meals for individuals who don't want to buy single portions, which are expensive and unenvironmentally friendly, as well as to have bulk meal options for those outfitters, guides, and ecotourism. And then lastly, there's very limited indigenous recipes. Most of the recipes out there, same old, and I really wanted to be able to share recipes that I'm really passionate about from my Métis heritage. So the market size is really interesting because it's both in the dietary food restrictions as well as the outdoor industry. Both are massive, as you can see from the statistics. 44% of all Canadians are considered outdoor enthusiasts. Now, obviously, that's a little bit because of where we live, and we have our beautiful outside. And then also, too, there's quite a few registered outfitters, guides, ecotourisms that operate both in BC and Alberta. And then there's many Canadians that are more focused on health now than they used to be, whether they're more aware of what dietary restrictions work for them and what doesn't. So all of these come together to really create an interesting market for us to operate in. So the value proposition is we're bringing something unique. There is other companies that do offer, obviously, freeze-dried food. It's a very large market to operate in. But there's not a lot of companies that are focusing on farm to table. So Alberta has amazing produce, and most of them are not utilizing it. A lot of the food is actually made down in the States and then shipped here and sold to Canadians for backcountry food, which is crazy in its own. And then also for the people to be able to find food to suit their dietary preference. So I sort of came up with a slogan of, we aim to take the stress out of planning your wilderness adventure. So as far as current traction, we've been operating the last couple of years, mainly just myself making, small batches of food for existing clients. So I was able to purchase a dehydrator, fill orders, and sort of escalate things from there. So profit margin breakdown. This is a current example of my profit margin based off of my first bulk client for an outfit and guide operation. So my profit margin is obviously quite subject to economies of scale. The more food I produce, the much cheaper it becomes in packaging, ingredients, and labor as well. So right now for the cheapest it would be least profit margin is 25%. That's expected to grow quite dramatically. So current sales, this is just the secured contracts for 2022. Obviously still quite early on in the year, so I'm quite hopeful over the next couple of months, especially going into summer and then the hunting season, these will grow quite a lot. And then business growth. So this is my two main clients, is guide outfitters and then individual backcountry consumers. So this is actually quite a conservative. This is just based off of a couple additional outfitter clients and then some mild online sales. So the go-to-market is a two-stage plan. The first stage is really focusing on the market that I'm currently operating in, and that is individual meals and bulk options to both the individual as well as to guides. And then stage two is really where we expand. So that includes online sales as well as reaching out to retail. The online sales is really significant because I have exposed a lot of consumers through the guides to my products. So I want them to be able to buy my products after their trips. So the competitive landscape, there are other companies that do offer diet-friendly options. Again, though, a lot of the times they're considered as an afterthought. So, and they're all sort of the same old recipes, very little creative thought given. And then if they do have diet-friendly options, they don't really offer bulk, and if they do, the one company, Braden Solutions, everything is produced down in the States in large tubs and shipped up. And then there's very little cultural recipes out there. And then there's almost no focus on the farm to table. So all of these come together to really add a large value. So the timeline, this is just an example. So we've had customer validation, we've had initial sales, we are at product expansion, which is fantastic. And sort of this gives a little bit of backing to why I can make my current business decisions. So the dream. So I always say for Musqueam Backcountry Foods, the sky's the limit. And by that I mean is I see this as a company that is expandable, is scalable, as something that I can really take and run with. And so I really hope to build a very strong foundation right now with that goal of being able to become a force in the food industry. So I'm asking for $10,000, and I really need it for additional equipment. So that's my biggest barrier for more production, essentially, is I also need to really develop my marketing campaign to reach those online sales. So I would like to thank everyone involved. This has been an incredible experience. And I would also like to thank all of the sponsors who made this possible. Oh.
Hey, Aaron, great presentation. I do have a question.
Yeah.
What's the most significant thing you've learned actually building this consumer packaged good business?
That sometimes it's better to narrow down who you're targeting to and do it really well and have success at one thing versus being mediocre at a lot of things. So I get a little distracted and I'm like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to target to these people, and it's like, no, bring it back. Let's focus, let's do this well, and then move on.
That was an excellent presentation. Thank you. So my big question is, as you're going into scale, how are you ensuring the quality as you get bigger?
I have some control issues. So I I actually have quite a lot of catering experience as well as working in the food industry through films. So I have the experience to hire people that I know will sort of work up to my quality. So that was a learning curve in past food companies that I did face as a challenge. So those past experiences definitely made me a little bit wiser on certain things.
No, that's awesome. Thank you.
For dehydrated food, do you need to operate in a CFIA-approved kitchen? You do?
Yeah,
Awesome.
and I do have access to one.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Actually, right where I live, like 10 feet from me, so.
Oh, well, well that works.
Yeah.
And then a follow-up question is, for the market side for the backcountry foods, do you know what size market is that you're targeting with your unique recipes?
So, yes. So, it's not the entire backcountry food because there's certain people that really do like their classic options. My sort of target is more people who want to be a little bit more exploratory with their choices. I mean, it's like $370 million industry just in Canada, the backcountry food as a whole. I mean, 12% of Canadians have dietary restrictions, so there's quite the overlap there. So it sort of just depends on where exactly you want to like target it. Like when you're in MEC and all of that, you're targeting to obviously that 370 million because those are the people who want to be buying backcountry. And then even if you're just 10% or 12% of that, the people who do face dietary restrictions, you're still 70 million.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thanks.
What are your limitations right now as from a production level getting into somewhere like MEC?
So I can't produce enough food right now. So I need further equipment. So right now I have dehydrators. I need a freeze dryer. So the additional money is actually to go towards the purchase of a freeze dryer. So, and then additional dehydrators. And so that would really allow me to produce enough food to have a recognizable brand. So I really need the sales to back up. Then I can approach MEC and say, I have this X amount of sales, you know, let me sell in your store. Without the ability to produce more product, I really can't sort of back that up. That's what's really interesting though about tying the guide outfitters along with the online is I have the unique advantage to sort of let the guides advertise a little bit for me by having all of my brand on my products that they're feeding to their clients. Then afterwards they can be like, loved this product, where can I buy it? Okay, I can buy it online, and then that grows business a little bit naturally too without a lot of footwork on my part. I mean, obviously, you still have to have the great product and still be branding and selling through different avenues, but that will allow sales to increase. So there's a couple of different guides up north. So my one secured contract is for up in northern BC. And there's several other guides in the area that would be interested in having my product for this coming hunting season. I need to be able to supply them.
Well, thank you to all the participants. You guys were wonderful. Maybe we can give another round of applause for all those who participated. And as they're walking out, also a round of applause to the judges as well, too. They're just going to go deliberate for some time here to decide how to allocate all the prizes here. But right now, the time you can go back, grab some food, grab some drinks, come congratulate the participants as well too, buy some candles, whatever it may be. Yeah, thank you for seeing through, and we'll be back in about 20, 30 minutes here.
So amazing job. Those who know me, and I know Jen and Emily are watching this live stream, know that I get nervous every year. What if this is the year the students don't step up? And every year they prove me wrong and they step up in an amazing way. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. And on to a few awards. If I can get JMH up here to shake some hands as they walk across the stage. Do not trip. So we have 4 $10,000 awards from JMH that we'll present first. And we have big checks to give away as well. So the first $10,000 award from JMH is for Musqueam Backcountry Foods. By the way, if you ask Rowan, who works with us, to make something, she makes it 50% bigger. And this is the biggest checks we've ever had. So, we good on pictures? Okay. Oh, get in there. Well done. I'm just pointing. The second $10,000 from JMH goes to Hyatt Co. The third JMH $10,000 award goes to Husky Jocks. Lana. And the fourth $10,000 award from JMH goes to Memoir Candles. You move slow for a hustler. Shake some hands. Excellent. More to come, more to come. So thank you, guys. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ray. So if I can have, I think Karen's coming up from Connect First to present the Connect First Social Impact Award. And this one goes to OK Blankets. Thanks so much. If I can get Aislinn up here quickly. Quickly? No.
Thank you, Ray. We are so excited to sponsor this again this year. It means a lot to me. I pitched in the very first LaunchPad competition and was not nearly as good as all of these people were. So thank you so much for all of your effort and time and energy. And we are very excited at Grant to support OK Blankets.
One more. So the last one is the LaunchPad Alumni Award for $5,000. And this one goes to Husky Jocks. And I do want to say that I know a couple walked away empty-handed. The way we work this is we will continue to work with these individuals. We will help them along. We'll help them with the funding as we can. And you know, a lot of them are actually allowed to come back next year. So that's all good. Just as a quick wrap up, stick around for pictures, guys. Make sure we get lots of pictures of you. We like to use those. And a huge thanks. Like, this doesn't happen. I mean, I had nothing to do with this. So huge thanks to Diana and Sam on my team. We hired Rowan, who's a superstar student who did most of what you see tonight, which is unbelievably amazing. And she's already got herself a job. She's that good. And Tracy's always kind of my right-hand person who helps out. Huge thank you to Renato, who's an alumni, stood on this stage, and he offered just to do all the lights for us, which was, I think, gave this whole thing a very Toronto International Film Festival type experience. So, and there was also an army of volunteers. We started a new program called the Innovation Sprint, which doesn't require that you have an idea. You just want to be involved and innovate, and we partner you up with companies. So we have a whole crop of amazing students that came out of that program that have been helping us out all night. They add so much value to our community. So I don't know when they kick us out, but keep eating if they're not kicking you out. And thanks so much for coming. It means the world to us. Drive safe and take care.